The massive fires in California are just one of the many issues waiting for Donald Trump as he formally assumes the presidency in 10 days. So, what can we expect from the U.S. president's second term? So, let's ask John P.B. Jose, a Republican operative and founder and CEO of the American Tomorrow Project. John, welcome again. Thank you for coming to the studio.
Lourdes, Denise, thanks again for having me here. I know we just got to see each other on Zoom calls in the past, but you guys look much better and a lot cooler in person.
Thank you. I was gonna say we were talking about KFC back then.
Correct.
But okay, John, there's a lot to
Yes.
unpack. But we first have to talk about, go through what has recently happened in the U.S.
Yep.
The California blaze. Just your reaction and thoughts.
Yes, as I've been tracking what's happening in California, it's sad to see what's happening. Prayers and thoughts to those families that have been bothered by that disaster. It's a natural disaster that's, I think, coming together now. But in terms of the scope of it now, people are working together now. That's what you see, the resilience of Americans during this time too. And I've been tracking some of our Filipino-American communities that are staying strong during this matter. So.
There's some criticism, let's say, a rather unwanted jab from some people that say, oh, those are rich people, they don't need our sympathy, etc., etc. And that's a high-end real estate right there. And, there's a bit of a grudge from some comments.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to bring the humanitarian perspective at the end of the day, right? Ito po yung mga Filipino-Americans, Americans that are going through a real natural disaster with their homes, catching on fire in the turn of the year. So we have to provide the perspective now that we have to be together as a community.
A lot of people are saying that Trump is trying to play politics with this issue. He's trying to withhold FEMA, threatens to withhold FEMA funds, and trying to pin the blame on California Governor Gavin Newsom. What's your comment on that?
Yeah, so right now, he's still a private citizen, president-elect, right? So he has the ways and the opportunities to have those types of conversations with people and say what he really feels, especially on Gavin Newsom's policies. But right now, this is still underneath Joe Biden's watch. It's still underneath his direction of the FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Administration, and those are being directed. And of course, he's going to be critical on how a liberal governor from California does it, but he is working on the ground and making sure that whatever ways that he can influence into making sure that people are being taken care of, just like how he did it during the hurricane in North Carolina, in those southern states. So he cares about what's happening and making sure that we protect those peoples and help those displaced people down the road.
You're attending the inauguration, we heard.
Yes, po. Yes.
Okay. Some, let's say, media outlets on the other end of the fence, they're trying to portray the MAGA as something like it's on the verge of collapsing, even before the second Trump term starts.
Right.
Let's say there's this thing with Elon Musk. It's not gonna last very long. There's debate about clashing immigration policies, etc. What's your?
No, I think we got to give President Trump a chance, right? He hasn't been sworn in yet, and we got to listen to the mandate of the people. I think that we're going to be excited to see on day one President Trump's executive orders on rescinding some of President Biden's current executive orders or moving forward with his campaign promises. Like what he did in his first term when he got inaugurated. His first executive orders were controversial at most, but they were the campaign promises na talagang tinupad niya yung pinangako niya sa mga botante nila. So doon tayo titingin, doon tayo iisipin kung paano natin ipapatuloy yung goals and promises niya through the first admin. So the first 100 days is going to be critical. But I think now, from this second inauguration, President Trump is a much more seasoned, much more matured president-elect coming into office than he was in his first term. Susie Wiles, the chief of staff now, has done a tremendous job making sure his nominations are in line. It's not like a dinner date with President Trump like his first term on how he, interviewed all of his cabinet secretaries. Now it's a lot more presidential. It's a lot more people are coming to him. Even he's not president right now, but it just shows the power that he has commanded from the voters and from the rest of Congress.
What do you think his relationship will look like with
Laura Loomer.
that and the Democrat leaders, past and present?
I honestly think that him and Chuck Schumer have a great relationship, despite their political differences. They're both from New York. They can banter with each other. Pwede sila, parang Batanggenyo to me. Pwede kang magprangkahan. Pero at the end of the day, though they're doing stuff for the American people, yes, it might be severe, but he's had great previous relationships with them when he was president. So now under Hakeem Jeffries, that's going to be the new catalyst, right? It used to be Nancy Pelosi. Chuck Schumer, I think, is still going to be, being a big thorn to Donald Trump's side as much as Donald Trump is going to be a big thorn to Chuck Schumer. But I think they're going to be, and I saw like in President Carter's funeral the other day when all presidents had to sit next to each other.
All five, yeah.
President Trump sat next to President Obama, and they've had some pretty good conversations from what some of those lip translators have been saying. So,
Are you worried about Trump's constant tweeting? No.
No. I mean, we did it through the first term, and that's not going to be a surprise for a second term. And I think the voters knew that. I mean, they've experienced that from 4 years of Donald Trump. And, the tweets, that's his personal journal in his diary, as
That's
it could be.
can be taken as policy.
It could be. Could be.
But we're waiting for the next Covfefe or Covfefe. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Right,
You
right.
were asking.
What do you make of his comments about Canada, Panama Canal,
Greenland.
buying Greenland?
I think, he is a marketer, and that is good at making sure the conversation goes back either to him or to his point of project, which is the United States of America. I think if you unfold what's happening in some of these countries and some of the issues that he's pointing to, I think he's trying to take the attention away from the BRICS countries, Russia, China, those types of, countries, and focuses it back into American policies. I know the other day he didn't want to call it the Gulf of Mexico anymore and the Gulf of America. But to the voters that voted for him, that's something that they've been wanting to hear. Why is it not pushing that American dominance again on the world stage? And I think that's a better way of looking. And other countries are scared of the United States rather than not respecting the United States right now with the president we have that falls asleep in big conferences and meetings. So I think the media is definitely having a much more fun time with President Trump right now rather than President Biden, where it's all scripted and we never see him anymore.
These are interesting times in the Chinese sense of the word. Oh, may you live in interesting times.
Very much.
All right. More questions, Denise.
Again, January 10th, of course, we know also there would be a sentencing for his hush money case. What's called unconditional discharge. Okay, wherein the conviction stands, but the case is closed without jail time, fine, or probation. But does this mean he will still be the first president in U.S. history to take office convicted of felony crimes? What's the implication? And how will that affect his credibility?
I mean, all of this happened before the election as well, and during the election process, where despite all of the obstacles that he's had to go around, despite of what the Democrat obstacles might be or legal obstacles might have been, he's already passed that and have become elected as president. So I think that didn't matter much to the mindset of the people that voted for him. They understood that this might be a policy or distractions from the other side during an election year, but now he's gonna be the commander-in-chief and the president of the United States. And just as much as the Republicans had to go through 4 years of Joe Biden, or the Republicans had to do that, Democrats are gonna have to go through 4 years of Donald Trump as well.
Okay, there's last question, Sugay.
Go
From my
lang.
end.
Yeah.
Do you think in the next 4 years there's going to be a reversal of the wokeness supposedly that's been affecting America or been plaguing America for as far some people are concerned? Companies like McDonald's are trying to reverse their DEI hiring policies and try to suck up to Donald Trump. What's your opinion?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily sucking up to Donald Trump, but I think that ideology of, criminal attacking these specific issues and policies is gone. But we got to go back to an idea of meritocracy, you know, where the best, no matter who they are, what they are, where they come from, comes to the front, right? And that's what they want to do. That's what making America great again is. It's not because of, hey, we got to give one trophy to the other. We got to give trophies to everybody else.
You all deserve medals.
Correct. It's more of like whoever's the best as much as it could be, while providing opportunities for other people to engage and to achieve that American dream is what they want to accomplish.
Yan. MAGA, make Alae great again.
I like that. Pwede yan.
But again, we take a break from politics and we enter like something on a personal note. I know you've been here for about a month already. When was the last time you were here? Ano na ba yung mga nabisita mo?
Oh, so I've been here 2 years ago. I try to come home every end of every big election cycles in the United States. It's a good way to refresh, see
detox.
family. That's more important. Walang kakaiba talaga, at saka walang tatalo sa Pasko sa Pilipinas. When your family, and especially Batanggenyo, you know, for us, we're the land in Batangas City. We have a good family restaurant, F. Bailosis, with the best crispy pata in town. 30 years running, so we have to go on a field trip there. Best lomi as well. So those. Kaya ngayon, kailangan na ulit magpapayad before my suits are tight before the inauguration. You know, but Batangas has been great. We've been seeing all across in the north as well, in La Union and in Pangasinan. But it's been a great time being back home.
May punto daw ba? May mga nagtatanong.
Meron pa ho. Tunay na punto pa po, are.
Meron pa talaga?
Pwede pa po.
Pag umuuwi, no? Pag umuuwi kasi.
Nahahalo eh.
Correct.
Right.
All right. Again, we'd like to thank American Tomorrow Project CEO and founder John P.B. Jose for joining us here in Afternoon Delight. Maraming salamat.
Yung PB ibig sabihin ay from Batangas.
From Batangas.
I like that.
I'm on a roll, so
Maraming salamat sa inyo, Lord and Denise. Mabuhay
thank
kayo.
you. Thanks,
All right,
thanks
okay.
John.